Bombs and gunfire have struck the Afghan capital Kabul shortly after a visit by Barack Obama. The Taliban has claimed responsibility, saying the attacks were in retaliation for the U.S. president's visit.
Bin Laden's death was a success on the war on terror front, no doubt about that. But there is an attempt to sell it as the success story of the whole war on terror. And many fear that Bin Laden's killing could serve as a convenient cover for bad policies of the past as well as the future. I'm Ganesh Chakyan reporting from Washington, RT.
All right, now let's discuss this further with Dr. Sreeram Chaulia from the Jindal School of International Affairs, now joining us live here on RT from New Delhi. It's good to see you today. Thanks for coming on. President Obama saying that the Taliban's momentum has been broken and Washington was in direct negotiations with the group. This after 10 years of trying to wipe out the Taliban. Any chance you can explain to us what exactly is going on?
I think the United States is facing a huge occupation crisis. They still have 2 more years to serve out before the drawdown begins. And now they have stretched it to another 10 more years of technical advice and military presence and possibly bases. I think they are facing an occupation crisis and they will need to, build domestic consensus in favor of prolonging the war. And that is why they're using these, rhetorical and highly lofty statements about bin Laden and about how they've turned it around. I think the Taliban know very well they are playing the waiting game, and I don't see them being defeated at all. In fact, rather, for them, victory lies in outlasting the United States. And even if it's 10 more years, I think it is actually, like red rag to the bull, because as long as there are Western military forces present, this indigenous insurrection and armed resistance will keep going. So I think you can say that the United States has been defeated in Afghanistan. I mean, it's fair to now, 10 years down the line, we can say, because how many more surges or bases are going to help the cause? I think Obama himself might even want to call today.
Well, as you're saying,
the American structure which
thousands of troops. I do apologize for interrupting, but thousands of troops, many U.S. bases in Afghanistan as well. It's interesting how you say Obama is using a lofty rhetoric to maybe perhaps try and score voters. Obama is saying that the defeat of Al-Qaeda is, quote, within reach. Is that all hot air? Because there are many analysts who say Al-Qaeda really is no longer in Afghanistan, it's in Pakistan.
No, absolutely. It has shifted eastwards, and I've been arguing the same. I think you have several franchises and branches of Al-Qaeda that are still quite potent, and I think it is totally misguided to believe that the organization has been eliminated or annihilated. Rather, what we are seeing is that its geographical locus is shifting eastwards, towards Pakistan and even further towards eastern parts of Asia. And what we're going to see then is, the United States will call it a day eventually because of the economic crisis at home. They won't be able to sustain this. But there is a section within the establishment that wants to believe that they can still achieve victory. This is the mistake made during Johnson's time in the Vietnam War, and they have repeated it all over again. So it's a real tragedy, because the fact on the ground is go away from the urban centers and the highways, and it's all Taliban land. Every patch of it, and therefore, what are we talking about?
If we can, there's no control. I'm sorry, let's talk about the issue of Osama bin Laden now. I apologize again, we're very low on time here on RT. Osama bin Laden killed on Pakistani territory now almost exactly a year ago. In fact, it's just curious to note that bin Laden was living in a $1 million home in what's basically a military village, and yet for some reason Pakistani authorities and intelligence didn't know he was living there for the past few years. Bin Laden killed on Pakistani territory. Obama only visits Kabul. What does that tell us about the state of relations between Washington and Islamabad?
I think Obama has been courageous to the extent that he knew that the Abbottabad raid last year on bin Laden's compound would jeopardize whatever thin relations the US already had with Pakistan. And with the drone strikes being so unpopular in Pakistan, I think, we are at the stage where it is fair to say that the United States is de facto also at war with Pakistan. And they know that the war is unwinnable because Pakistan has in many ways thrown spanners into the wheel of the United States plans in Afghanistan. So I think it is fair to argue now that it has been a strategic defeat for the United States, and the so-called AFPAC theater has been, has really backfired. And in many ways, they can save face and they can say that, we are still winning and Taliban want to negotiate. But the point is, this has happened in the past. The Taliban know that they're on a stronger position right now, and they are winning this war. And let us face it, many asymmetric wars in the past have been won by the smaller sides. United States is on the receiving end this time.
All right, Dr. Sreeram Chaulia from the Jindal School of International Affairs in New Delhi. Thank you for coming on RT today.